Hi, this is Dr. Scott, and today we're going to get into this is a two-part that we're going to talk about is illegals and the terrorism that's inside of it. And listen, we're not just talking about that most people are giving into is the immigration levels that were coming in fantastic levels all through the southern and some of the northern areas with that too, but we're talking about the systemic level that comes with it. Okay, so I'm going to show you several videos here. We'll stop and we'll talk about them as we go. Okay, so let me pull this back up here. Let's make sure
There's a
it's right.
strange trend here where how many Social Security numbers were issued?
So what he's talking about is Doge started to look, and this was done in this was done in Wisconsin when they're about ready to vote. And so, and you know, there's an idiot CNN reporter who kind of says he's taking away Social Security. Never did. But we're taking away Social Security from the illegals with this too. And I'll show you how this works actually. So he finds with this other gentleman, find massive numbers of people, 2.4 million people who were on Social Security that really didn't exist or were illegals.
Do you want to?
Yeah, so let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of it?
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just
Now think about that for a second. If they're getting Social Security numbers, they can register to vote. We'll show you more about that. They can get Social Security benefits, Medicare, Medicaid. They can get, direct all kinds of different things with having a fake Social Security number. Now it's not faked like someone went off in a back alley and did it. They did it through official channels. That is the definition of treason that they have accomplished. Not the people themselves, but all of the systems throughout the government areas with that too. When we start deleting this, they have nothing and they go home. That's where they need to be anyway. Go home. Don't be here in an illegal status with that too. And that's why many people don't even realize they're not legal in this way.
this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister are all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. Okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country, and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth like just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that
See, the people in Social Security Administration who are doing this. This is treason. This is absolute, utter treason.
that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. No. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why.
Right.
And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already. Already. That is already happening. Right now. Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, and people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this, okay? That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in Central America, you got to walk up through Mexico, through Central America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers.
And this is how they did that. And we're talking about 13818. This is what happens in here. Let's talk about the proof. Let's show you some of the proof.
Me han ayudado a conseguir seguro médico, me han ayudado para obtener mi identificación me han ayudado a obtener el asilo, poder obtener mi permiso de trabajo y mi social.
Gracias a Dios ya me llegó mi social y mi permiso de trabajo.
Y que me llegue mi social security y mi permiso.
Do you have a worker's permit or social security number?
Solamente cuando pasamos, mi esposa y yo solicitamos el permiso de trabajo. Me llegó el permiso, solamente el permiso. A mi esposa le llegaron todos sus papeles, su social, todo. A mí nada más me llegó el permiso.
So you get a social security number when you arrive to the border. They give you one.
No, after I apply for asylum.
You apply for DoorDash, you have the work permit and the social security number. How long do you have to wait until you get a job at one of these food delivery companies?
Around for the app is like 1 week.
Sí, ando buscando el social.
So you're looking primarily to the social security number. And you haven't gotten it after over a year?
Sí, lo recibí, pero lo guardé dentro de los papeles y lo ando buscando.
Like, what was the process like to get that job? Did you have to apply, and how did it work?
I applied for my asylum and give me my working permit and my social. That's why I used the social to open my application.
Okay. All DoorDash needs is social security number and work permit?
Social security number and ID.
And an ID?
And an ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to interview with them or speak to anybody, or you just got a notification you can drive?
Yeah, it's a process online. You just fill the.
So this is just the common thing that's happening. So they allow these people coming in and getting jobs, and you're going, wait a second. It's all the jobs that Americans need, and they're getting something that you and I don't get with that kind of thing too. Let's show you. Now, I've had people kind of ask me, why is it that the tax services people, who we know are going away? I've shown you the evidence of this. What are they doing about it? This is their little ad.
All the shelters and stuff.
But like our company, this is why we try to help people by, providing them with refunds,
This is Savannah Hernandez in front of the...
And them with refunds.
Look at that number. wait a second, someone comes into the country, doesn't even pay any IRS taxation, and she's going to get $7,600 to 14,000? Like, I've never gotten those kinds of refunds. I mean, now, as a business owner, if I've had a horrible year, yes, I might get some of those kinds of numbers, but I have never seen those kinds of numbers if you're just a private citizen. So they're just they're writing them a check when the private citizen walks up and they might get $76 back when they paid tens of thousands of dollars. These people haven't paid a dime.
This is Savannah Hernandez in front of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. Now, we wanted to come check in on the migrant crisis, and as we were walking around, we saw a Jackson Hewitt table out here with an employee who was handing out this flyer. Now, what this flyer says is, working or not, file your taxes, and we can get the maximum refund for your...
Working or not, okay? We're talking about immigrants or illegals, working or not. Wait a second. That means they're not paying into the tax system. And yet they're getting tax returns. Let's hope you get the money today. What?
Family, and the paper says that if you have one child, you can get over $7,000 in a refund, and if you have up to 3 children, you can get over $14,000. So the Jackson Hewitt employee who initially handed me this paper, after finding out I was a journalist, took the paper away. That's why this one's so dirty, because a migrant ended up giving me another copy, and he stated that if he's put on camera and this goes out, that legal will have to get involved.
We do this stuff like this, like at all the shelters and stuff. Right?
But like our company, this is why we try to help people by, providing them with refunds,
So you guys are trying to help the migrants with their taxes then,
Yes.
to help them get refunds,
Yes.
help them get some money back from
Yes.
the government?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, we're just going to go try to talk to them.
Can't put my footage.
Can we take one of your papers, though, just so we can kind of... Thank you.
Actually, you should just take this one, because this one has my office information, and
Okay.
so therefore legal would have to get involved. So that's
Okay, so just wanted to give you guys an idea of, again, what migrants have been told.
Why would legal have to be involved in that particular one? Because what they're doing is illegal, so they're doing it underneath, and this is how these idiot tax agencies are doing it. They're making money. Now, this isn't every single private, tax accounting firm. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about some of the major ones. Who are they purchased by? Many of them. Think about that for a second. We're like, wait a second. What do you mean purchased? These people were purchased by some of the big banking firms. What were the banking firms doing by buying the H&R Blocks, the Jackson Hewitt kind of ones? Because what they were trying to do is go, we're going to give free tax services to the wealthy so that we can kind of get their money. But that isn't the real answer, right? You don't do it to kind of get into the pockets of the wealthy. What you do it is, that's one area, but you do it primarily because there's some other amount of money that you're making every single way of it. And the illegal won't let him do this, talk about this, which is probably going to get taken down anyway for this, because what they were doing is everything, a part of this was illegal. Okay, let's jump into this one. Here's illegals doing voting issues.
Don't they do that? Don't they do that inside?
Huh?
You register inside, don't you?
I mean, they allow us to do it over here because it looks like I don't know if they don't want to do anymore, but they authorize it also.
It's only they check a box, that's all.
Why all the blue? No, the blue is nothing. It just this is an organization.
This is a non-GO,
a
non-government organization.
Yeah, it's a non-government. It's mean in Spanish, my family in action.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, ma'am. And update information, like when the people changes the updated affiliation party or address. We know party affiliation. We're not allowed to talk about politicians.
You're citizens?
No,
Citizens?
ma'am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I wonder who funds this here.
You can Google it. 19142. This is our code organization. No, I cannot give you that because we have to. But you can search it.
But I want to tell you that most of the people that are coming, this was always packed. They're not even U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
So how do you What do you have to sign up to vote? A driver's license?
No. You have to be a U.S. citizen. It's a felony.
But how do you prove it, though?
Oh, you have to trust in the people. If they lie, no.
If they trust, you have to trust in the people. Who are we trusting in? Social Security Administration. That's why we're talking about this. The illegals comes into this, and we're talking about terrorism from inside of our own government. Do you understand? This is why Doge has to occur. Guys, it's going to be okay. I don't want you to get upset about this. What I want you to realize is this kind of stuff is being deleted. This is the cool level that is coming. So guys, it'll be okay. You're going to be fine. Thanks so much.